We were taught to fear the number 40 and 50. Society whispers in our ears that this number marks the beginning of the end. We are told that with every candle added to the birthday cake, our feminine power fades, and passion becomes nothing more than a dusty memory in a photo album of our youth. We are told that menopause is a full stop, a heavy door slamming shut on the bedroom forever. But what if I told you that for all this time, we have been lied to? What if that strange, unsettling feeling you have been experiencing lately, that sudden rush of heat, you mistake for anxiety, is actually not a sign of aging, but a signal of awakening? Science calls this the hormonal paradox. While estrogen levels may fluctuate and drop, the ratio of hormones in your body shifts, creating a biological storm capable of igniting a fire you did not even know existed in your 20s. This is not the sunset. This is what ancient traditions call the second spring. The energy inside you is not disappearing. It is concentrating. It is becoming more potent. But because no one taught us how to use it, we suppress it. We fear it. Today, we stop fearing. In the next few minutes, I am going to show you why your sexual energy after 40 is more powerful than it has ever been, and exactly what you need to do to unleash it. Welcome to the truth about your body. I know why you clicked on this video, and I know why you might have hesitated before you did. You are here because, despite what the world sees on the the career you've built, the family you nurture, the composure you maintain in the inside, you feel like you are losing control of the one thing that has always been yours, your own body. Let's be honest about where you are right now. Maybe you are 42, 48, or 55. You wake up tired, even after a full night's sleep. You look in the mirror and notice that your body has changed shape, seemingly overnight, despite you doing the same workouts and eating the same salads. But the most confusing change is happening in the bedroom. You might look at your partner, someone you love deeply, and feel nothing, or worse, you feel irritation. You remember a time when intimacy was effortless, when desire was a spark that caught fire easily. Now, it feels like a chore. It feels like another item on your endless to-do list, right between grocery shopping and calling your mother. And then, there is the guilt. You ask yourself, is my marriage dying? You wonder, am I broken? You think, maybe this is just what happens. Maybe I'm just done. I am here to tell you, you are not done. You are not broken. And your marriage is not necessarily the problem. My name is not important. My face is not important. I choose to remain an anonymous guide because in the world of women's health, we have too many influencers and not enough truth. I am a researcher and a specialist in sexual wellness and relationship psychology. I have spent years listening to women, just like you women between 30 and 60, who are navigating the most complex biological transition of their lives. I created this channel with one mission: to build a sanctuary of trust where we can talk about the things no one else is talking about. We need to talk about the silent struggle. You see, society calls this menopause or perimenopause, and they treat it like a disease. They give you a list of symptoms: hot flashes, dryness, mood swings, weight gain. They hand you a prescription and tell you to wait it out. But they miss the bigger picture. Physiologically, your body is undergoing a massive recalibration. Your ovaries are retiring from the job of reproduction, causing estrogen and progesterone, the hormones that once regulated your mood and lubrication, to fluctuate wildly. This creates a disconnect between your brain, which might still want connection, and your body, which is shouting, "No, leave me alone." Psychologically, you are likely in the sandwich generation. You are carrying the weight of caring for aging parents while still raising children or supporting young adults. Your cortisol levels, the stress hormone, are skyrocketing. And here is the scientific truth: cortisol is the enemy of libido. You cannot feel sexy when your body is in survival mode. So, you have a biological storm clashing with a psychological burden. Is it any wonder your sexual energy feels blocked? But notice I said blocked, not gone. The energy is still there. In fact, as you move past the reproductive years, your sexual energy transforms from something driven by biology, making babies, to something driven by pleasure, connection, and self-expression. It becomes yours. The problem is not that the fire has gone out. The problem is that we are trying to light it with wet wood. We are trying to approach sex and relationships with the same playbook we used in our 20 seconds. But you are not 20 anymore. You are a different woman, with a different body, requiring a different kind of map. In this video, we are going to throw away the old map. We are going to stop blaming your age and start understanding your physiology. We are going to bridge the gap between how you feel and how you want to feel. We are going to uncover the big myth that keeps millions of women stuck in a sexless, frustrating cycle. Are you ready to let go of the guilt and step into the truth? Now, we arrive at the heart of the problem. We need to dismantle the lies that have been programmed into your mind for decades. If you believe your sex life is over because you simply don't feel like it anymore, you are likely falling victim to the single biggest myth in female sexuality, the myth of the broken switch. Here is the scenario. You are busy. You are tired. Your partner approaches you, perhaps giving you a hug or a suggestive look. Your immediate reaction is not excitement. It is neutrality, or maybe even a slight annoyance. You think to yourself, I used to feel a spark instantly. Now I feel nothing. My switch is broken. This is where society and even many doctors have failed you. They measure your desire against a male model of sexuality, or the model of a 20-year-old woman with peak estrogen levels. We need to talk about spontaneous desire versus responsive desire. In your 20 seconds, dominated by high estrogen and testosterone, you likely experienced spontaneous desire. This is the feeling of being hungry for sex out of nowhere. You see a person, you have a thought, and boom, you are ready. It is like a lightning strike. But as you enter your 40 seconds and 50 seconds, your neurobiology shifts. This is not a defect. It is an evolution. You move into what science, specifically the research of Dr. Rosemary Basin, calls responsive desire. Responsive desire means your mind and body do not start with hunger. They start with willingness. You don't feel horny before you start. You feel horny after stimulation has begun. Think of it this way. In your 20 seconds, your libido was like a microwave instant heat at the push of a button. In your 40 seconds, your libido is like a gourmet slow cooker or a fireplace. You have to gather the wood, create the context, light the match, intimacy foreplay, and nurture the flame. The heat is just as intense, perhaps even warmer and longer lasting, but the process of ignition is completely different. If you wait to feel hungry before you eat, you will starve. With responsive desire, you sit at the table because the company is good, and as you take the first bite, you realize, oh, this is delicious. I actually am hungry. So, the first truth is, you are not broken. You are just waiting for lightning to strike, when you should be building a fire. Now, let's address the second, more physical myth. The myth that says, if my body isn't reacting, I must not love my partner. We need to talk about GSM, genitourinary syndrome of menopause. This is a medical term that every woman over 40 needs to know. As estrogen drops, blood flow to the pelvic region decreases. The tissues of the vulva and vagina become thinner, less elastic, and drier. This is not about how much you love your husband. This is about blood flow and tissue health. When these tissues are dry, touch doesn't feel pleasurable. It feels irritating or even painful. And here is the psychological trap. Your brain is smart. If sex hurts, or if it feels like sandpaper, your brain will label sex as a threat. Next time your partner approaches you, your brain doesn't say, ooh, fun. Your brain says, warning, pain ahead, and shuts down your libido to protect you. You think you have a low sex drive? No. You have a pain avoidance mechanism working perfectly. So, we have a psychological mismatch, waiting for spontaneous desire, and a biological barrier, GSM. Neither of these is a character flaw. Neither of these means your relationship is doomed. These are puzzles, and puzzles can be solved. But to solve them, we have to stop looking at the symptoms and start looking at the story. What happens when a woman actually understands this? What happens when she stops waiting for the microwave to ding and starts tending the fire? Let me tell you the story of Elena. Let me introduce you to Elena. Elena is 48 years old. She is a marketing director, a mother of 2 teenagers, and to the outside world, she has it all. She is organized, successful, and sharp, but inside, Elena feels like she is slowly turning into stone. For the last 2 years, Elena has been keeping a secret from her husband, Mark. They have been married for 22 years. Mark is a good man. He is kind, he still finds her attractive, and he tries to connect. But every time Mark initiates intimacy, a hand on her waist while she's washing dishes, or a suggestively raised eyebrow at night, Elena feels a wave of panic. Her internal monologue goes like this: "Oh no, not now. I'm too tired. It's going to take too long. It's going to hurt." She remembers the last time they tried. It felt dry. It felt abrasive. She spent the entire time counting the cracks in the ceiling, waiting for it to be over so she could go back to sleep. Afterward, she saw the look on Mark's face, a mixture of confusion and hurt. He asked, "Is it me? Is there someone else?" She told him, "No, I'm just stressed with work." But that was a lie. The truth was, she felt empty. She believed that the part of her that was a sexual woman had simply packed its bags and left the building. She mourned her sexuality like a friend who had died. She thought, "This is it. This is menopause. I am just a mother and a worker now." One rainy Tuesday, Elena reached her breaking point. She sat in her car in the driveway, crying, terrified that her silence was going to end her marriage. That was the day she decided to stop guessing and start learning. She didn't go to a marriage counselor. She went to a women's health specialist who understood the second spring. The specialist told Elena exactly what I told you. She explained that Elena's ovaries had retired, but her capacity for pleasure had not. She explained that the pain she felt was just biology, thinner tissues, not a lack of love. She explained that waiting for lightning to strike in a 8-year-old body was a recipe for failure. Elena went home with a new plan. It wasn't romantic candles or sexy lingerie. It was much more practical. First, she treated the GSM. She started using a high-quality localized estrogen cream and a daily moisturizer for her intimate area. She treated her vulva with the same care she treated her face. Within 3 weeks, the pain was gone. The fear of sandpaper vanished. Second, she sat Mark down. This was the hardest part. She said, "Mark, I miss us. But my body works differently now. I can't just jump into fifth gear. I need to warm up the engine. I need us to build the fire together." Mark didn't pull away. He listened. He was relieved to know he wasn't the problem. They changed their routine. They stopped trying to have quick sex at 11 p.m. when Elena was exhausted. Instead, they scheduled connection time on Sunday mornings. No pressure for intercourse, just skin-to-skin contact, massage, talking. Elena stopped waiting to feel horny. She practiced responsive desire. She allowed herself to just be in the moment, enjoying the sensation of Mark's hand on her back. And then, something magical happened. One Sunday, about 10 minutes into a massage, Elena felt it. A warmth? A pulse. It wasn't the frantic, explosive hunger of her 20 seconds. It was deeper. It was a slow, rising tide of energy. It felt grounded. It felt confident. She realized that her sexual energy hadn't left. It was just waiting for her to invite it back in. Today, Elena says her sex life is actually better than it was in her 30 seconds. Why? Because she is no longer performing. She is no longer rushing. She is inhabiting her body with a new kind of authority. She has stepped into her second spring. Elena's story is not a fairy tale. It is biology managed with intelligence. And if Elena can do it, so can you. But you might be asking, okay, I understand the story, but what is the science behind this mental shift? Why does the brain block us? And how do we rewire it? Why did Elena's strategy work? Was it magic? No, it was neurobiology. To understand why your sexual energy has changed, we need to look under the hood of your brain. We need to talk about the dual control model of sexual response. Imagine your brain has two systems regarding sex. The accelerator, the sexual excitation system, this notices all the sexual cues: a kiss, a scent, a memory. It says, go. The brake, the sexual inhibition system. This notices all the reasons not to have sex: stress, fatigue, body image issues, fear of pain. It says, stop. In your 20 seconds, your accelerator was so sensitive thanks to hormones, that it could override almost any brake. You could be tired or stressed, but the accelerator would still floor the gas. But after 40, your sensitivity shifts. Your accelerator becomes more selective, and your brakes become much more sensitive. Think about your life right now. Work stress? Brake. Worried about aging parents? Brake. Feeling bloated? Brake. Fear that sex might hurt GSM? Massive brake. When Elena was lying in bed turning away from her husband, it wasn't that she didn't love him. It was that her brakes were jammed to the floor. And no matter how much Mark tried to press the accelerator, by touching her, the car wouldn't move because the parking brake was still on. Here is the scientific key. You cannot accelerate your way out of a parking brake. Trying to force yourself to have sex when you are stressed is like revving the engine with the brakes on. You just burn out the engine. This is why trying harder fails. What Elena did was brilliant because she stopped focusing on the accelerator. She focused on releasing the brakes. She treated the pain, released the pain brake. She changed the timing to Sunday morning, released the exhaustion brake. She removed the pressure of intercourse, released the performance anxiety brake. Once the brakes were released, her natural sexual energy could flow again effortlessly. This brings us to the second critical factor, the nervous system. For a woman over 40, relaxation is the new foreplay. Biologically, arousal happens in the parasympathetic nervous system rest and digest mode. But most of us live our entire lives in the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight mode, driven by cortisol. Cortisol is a libido killer. It constricts blood vessels, making lubrication impossible, and tells your brain, we are in danger. Do not reproduce. When Elena and Mark spent time just massaging and talking, without the goal of sex, Elena's body shifted from fight or flight to rest and digest. Her cortisol dropped. Her oxytocin, the bonding hormone, rose. Only in this state of safety could her body physically prepare for intimacy. So, here is the formula for your second spring. Reduce the threats, brakes, plus increase the safety. Relaxation equals awakened energy. It is not about fixing a broken part. It is about creating the right environment for the flower to bloom. You don't pry a flower open with your fingers. You give it sunlight and water, and it opens itself. Now that you understand the why, you need to know how. How do you apply this to your life starting tonight? I have a 3-step roadmap for you. We have traveled a long way together in this video. We have shattered the myth that your desire is broken. We have learned that menopause is not an end, but a transition. We have discovered that your brain needs safety, not pressure, to unlock pleasure. Now, you have a choice. You can close this video and go back to thinking that this part of your life is over. Or, you can take the first step into your second spring. If you are ready to reclaim your energy, here is your 3-step protocol. You can start this today. Step 1. Restore the physical foundation. You cannot build a fire in the rain. If you are experiencing dryness or pain, GSM, you must address it medically. Stop suffering in silence. Action. Make an appointment with your doctor specifically to discuss vaginal health and hydration. Ask about localized estrogen or high-quality moisturizers. Mindset. Treat this part of your body with the same dignity and care as you treat your face. It needs moisture. It needs attention. Step 2. Release the brakes. Stop trying to press the gas when you are stressed. Focus on removing the obstacles. Action. Identify your biggest sex brake. Is it fatigue? Is it the mess in the bedroom? Is it anger at your partner? The conversation. Talk to your partner. Use these words. I want to be close to you, but right now my brakes are on because of X. Can we work together to release this brake? The rule. No intimacy when you are in survival mode. Relax first. Connect second. Arousal will follow. Step 3. Schedule non-demand intimacy. Throw away the expectation of instant fireworks. Move from spontaneous to responsive. Action. Set aside 20 minutes once a week. Call it us time. The goal. The goal is not orgasm. The goal is sensation. Touch each other. Massage. Breathe. If it leads to sex, wonderful. If it leads to a nap or a deep conversation, that is also a victory. You are rewiring your brain to associate touch with safety, not performance. This is not a quick fix. This is a practice. It is the practice of honoring the woman you are now, not the woman you were 20 years ago. The woman you are now is wiser. She is deeper. And believe me, her capacity for pleasure is profound. If this video spoke to you, if you felt a weight lift off your shoulders, then you are in the right place. This channel is not just about information. It is a sanctuary for women like us. I am your guide, but you are the author of this next chapter. Subscribe to join our community. In our next video, we will dive even deeper into the specific hormones that control your mood and how to balance them naturally. You don't want to miss it. You are not done. You are just beginning. Welcome to your second spring.